Welcome, everybody.
Recording in progress.
We're going to officially call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. on April 2nd. Welcome, everybody, to our regular select board meeting. The first item is to set and adjust the agenda. We have nothing to adjust, so we will move on. The next item is communication from the audience. Before we hear from the audience, I do want to remind everybody to sign in. Casey set up, or Amanda and Casey set up a really great podium at the front with a sheet of paper to sign in on. There's also some information about some things that we're going to be talking about during the meeting. So if you have not yet signed in, please sign in. So also a reminder, it's wonderful to see such a big crowd here, to raise your hand so that way we can get to everybody. And then when you're called on, to please state your name. That is for the minutes, so we can be recording everything. So communication from the audience. Is anybody here to make a comment on something that is not on the agenda? Yes, could you please state your name?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Hannah Redmond from West Public Land. I just wanted to share that last week we were successful in our request to the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board for $465,000 for the Buffalo Mountain Town Forest project. So that's another good step in that direction, and I'm happy to share more details via email or now about what all the other steps are.
Actually not on the agenda. She's not on the agenda.
Thank you, Hannah. Is there any other public comment?
I'm on the agenda, but are you meaning off the agenda or on the agenda?
So communication from the audience is for anything not on the agenda that you would like to communicate. So if there's an item not on the agenda, now would be the time to communicate it, or add new and old business at the very end.
What about if it's on the agenda?
Then you can save it for later.
Is it on the agenda?
Yeah.
What you want to discuss?
Yeah, you're doing the mountain vote and the item number 7, which was done under other business, which is non-binding and non-germane.
Yep. I imagine there are a couple of you here for those items. So if you're here for those items, I would just wait until those items.
We can talk about them when they come up?
Yes.
Okay, that's different than the school board. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
there will be an opportunity. It's a great clarifying question, Oris. There will be an opportunity to ask clarifying questions on those topics. But if there's something, that is even a little bit different from those items, so we're really discussing when to hold. We'll get to those items, but if there's something separate from that, now's the time.
Agenda.
Yeah. So anybody else have a comment for something not on the agenda? It's also, I can't really see all the way to the right, so if you do, no, go ahead and state your name, please.
Can I just say, we're having a lot of trouble hearing when you clear.
Okay. Yeah, I think, Norma, the wall probably doesn't help. So
can fill the space.
we do have some seats here. I also wonder if we were able to move some chairs kind of over closer to the podium, or maybe closer to where Val and Audrey are sitting, or Sue in the back. I think that wall really blocks a lot of sound. So feel free to move around.
There's plenty of room over here in front of the table and along the wall. Just don't put the chairs on the wires.
They'll have to bring their chairs.
But we will, Norma, that's heard. We will do our best to also speak up as well.
You're gonna need to bring your chairs.
Yeah, I was just saying, do we have enough?
Chairs.
There's 2 chairs, open chairs.
Thank you.
Come on over more.
Great. Any other communication from the audience? Great. All right, so we have next the select board to approve minutes of the regular select board meeting of March 19th, 2026, the bylaw public hearing minutes of March 19th, 2026, and the special meeting minutes of March 26th, 2026. Any discussion? We can do them all together.
So motion to approve all 3 minutes
Second.
as written.
Great. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Sorry.
Abstentions? Okay. I want to give a really big shout out for the town staff. Those meetings were also very full. There was a lot of information going around, and those minutes really captured everything. way better than AI could have, so well done,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Next, we have the town manager's report given by David Upson.
Okay, so after 2.5 years, we finally got an offer for our wastewater plant in the amount of $8.2 million. We have, and that is to elevate the structure in the current location. We have till April 15th to accept the offer. We have some meetings scheduled with FEMA now that they're back in business to discuss the fine details of this. But we haven't decided yet if we're gonna accept it, but it is the amount that the engineers estimated that elevating the current structure would cost. So it's close to what we're asking for from them. We're working with FEMA also with the fire department for the relocation of the fire department, where we have to provide them with the cost to dry flood-proof the building. That's one of the exercises they want us to do. So we're communicating and asking for proposals from engineering firms to provide us with that information. So that's in the works, more to come on that. And then the final piece of the last project that we have with FEMA is our lift stations. We're still working on a codes and standards repair for that. Those are the ones down on Route 14 South and Buffalo Street. Those were damaged in both of the events. And then I've had 2 meetings with potential project managers to help with future projects. They're mainly the box culverts and the bridges that we have coming up, the final designs for. And our community development coordinator is working on an EDA project proposal to turn into a potential grant application for the funding stack for the wastewater plant if we decide to move it, and an application through USDA water, the WET program. I forgot what the acronym is for that. And then we've submitted 3 congressionally directed spending proposals for each of the national delegates for the Essential Services Project up here for rescue. And then just a quick update on the wall, retaining wall project in town, if you guys didn't know any of that was going on. Yeah. So they've gotten all the pilings drilled on the Main Street side for the wall, for the retaining wall that they'll put in place as they dig down to do the micropiles. So they're gonna start excavating and then over the next couple weeks, and there'll be dump trucks going in and out of the Main Street site. And then they drilled the micropiles on the Daniels Block abutment side today, and that'll be happening over the next couple weeks. So everything's going fairly well with that project, and we haven't gotten too many traffic complaints. Everything seems to be running smoothly. So thank you all for your cooperation. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt to drive through town, but that's what I have so far. Okay?
Just a couple small things.
Yep.
Does the board have any questions for town manager? I did have one question about the sewer plant. If it's April 15th.
The politically correct term is wastewater.
Yeah. Wastewater facilities.
Yeah.
The deadline's the 15th for that.
Yeah. The deadline is the 15th is for a fixed cost offer.
Okay.
So that is, if we take that offer, then if we run into any problems and there's the rebuilding or elevating the wastewater facility, the control building to the wastewater facility, we wouldn't get any additional, we couldn't go back to them and say we actually need, another couple $100,000.
Yep.
So I think all the consultants, the state consultants, if we don't take the offer, it will just still be obligated, and then it'll be eligible for mitigation.
Okay.
So there's some strategy there that we're leaning on the state's consultants for.
And we did already reject an offer.
Yes,
Yeah.
for about half of that price.
And if we accept it, what do you think the rough timeline is on it?
So if we accept the offer, we still want to move the facility, so we would have to lean on USDA. And USDA in the Vermont office has about I think it's $42 million earmarked for wastewater plants in Vermont, and that includes us, Johnson, and Ludlow. So they know they know the damage that was caused in the floods. They know the need. They know that we're not going to be able to put those repairs on the ratepayers. And so they had that money was set aside during the Biden administration, and it's remained there during this administration. So far. And so we are putting together an application for that.
Okay, great.
So we're close.
Okay.
That'll be the next big project.
Yeah,
Yep,
thank you.
yep.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. Next, we have the Hardwick Police Department report given by Mike Henry.
I'll make it quick. So the big thing is the simulcast repeater system that we've been trying to put in for the new radios is finally coming together. It's only taken almost a year to get this going. The fiber, dark fiber has been put into West Hill. It's been linked to the police department. So we can start having Burlington Communications get that in there. Our radio systems don't work very well right now. So this new simulcast system will have a repeater on West Hill, at the police department, and then in Greensboro as well. So we'll get these two sites up and running, and then we'll get the site up in Greensboro, and that will give us coverage up in East Hardwick where we have no radio communications. So fiber's in, now we're just gonna get the radios in, so those are already purchased. Hopefully things will be rolling by the end of the next week with that. Got Steve Mitchell is at training for 2 weeks, so he's out this week, next week. Next week, Joe is going to be going to training for a couple of days, so we're going to be running very thin. But once we get it done, we'll be back. The new officer, Ariana Morris, is still in the academy doing her level 3 training, 17 weeks. This is week 8 for her, so she's doing a great job down there. A lot of good, positive things. Everything else seems to be running great.
Great. Well, thanks, Mike. Are there any questions?
Were there any updates on the people that were avoiding downtown and driving so fast on the side streets?
We've had officers down there. We've been doing directed patrols, mainly on West Church Street, and we haven't seen people driving erratically or anything like that
I've
yet.
seen a lot of really fast passes on Highland.
On Highland Avenue? Okay.
And that hill, you know, as you come to the top of that hill,
You can't see.
if you meet somebody,
Yeah.
yeah, people are really speeding up that hill.
If there are particular times that people can have us go down there, we'll go to those areas.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. We generally are out there when school lets out. That's the big time that the officers are out there just trying to monitor people trying to race home from school or whatever,
Yeah.
those commuter hours. But we'll hit Highland Avenue too.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Great. So item number 1 is the select board to consider liquor license renewals for Agrimark/Yellow Barn and House of Pizza. And those are a first-class license for the Hardwick House of Pizza and a second-class license for Agrimark Inc., DBA Agrimark/Yellow Barn. And we have Tanya here, if there's any.
No violations.
No violations.
Just renewals.
So I'll make the motion to approve both. Can we do both at once?
Yep. Do you
Both at
mind
once.
reading them?
Yes. I mean, no, I don't mind. Yes, I don't mind. What am I doing? I'm reading. I move to approve first-class license for Hardwick House of Pizza, Inc., and a second-class license for Agrimark, Inc., DBA Agrimark/Yellow Barn.
Second.
Great. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Great, thank you so much, Tanya. The next item, item 2, payroll administrator to give an update on the progress of the town meeting survey. Some of you might have gotten the town meeting survey. If you have not, we have printed some paper copies out, and it's also online. Let Amanda describe the survey a little bit.
So this town meeting survey was created for feedback on future town meetings. However, considering the revote, we wanted to look at this information to try and see what time works better for everybody, what day of the week works better for everybody. And we have received 94 completed surveys so far. 38 respondents said that evening works better and Saturdays actually work better rather than during the week. One of the other questions was preferred location, and 57 people said Hardwick Elementary School. Because it was on the warning this past town meeting in March, and it was voted on for townhouse, the town meeting for next year has to be at the townhouse. But this information at least gives us a good look at what could happen in the future. And in order to change from the townhouse to the elementary school, it has to be revoted on. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up on what the results are looking like so far. The expiration date for this is May 31st. I would love to get at least 200 completed surveys. It's on our website, and like Kaylee said, there's copies over there.
I think we could get about a third of that tonight if everybody fills out the survey.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for taking that initiative. Are there any questions about the survey results so far? No? Great. Well, thank you, Amanda. Next, we have item 3, select board to discuss setting a date for a reconsideration vote of Article 7 from town meeting to contribute $25,000 towards the acquisition of 329 plus acres on Buffalo Mountain. Before we get into discussion like this, I would like to ask our town clerk, Tanya Chase, to describe the process of a petition and how that works in the town of Hardwick and what the next steps are for any petition.
So for this one, reconsideration vote, start with that one. So I typed up a thing. I'm just going to read it. I'm here to present a petition submitted by registered voters of Hardwick requesting a reconsideration vote on an article that was decided by floor vote at town meeting. This petition has been submitted pursuant to 17 VSA 2661, which provides for reconsideration or recession of vote. My office received and reviewed the petition. Upon examination, I can certify that it contains the required number of valid signatures from registered voters of the town of Hardwick, exceeding the 5% of the checklist as required by statute, and it was filed within the 30 days of the original vote. The petition specifically requests reconsideration of Article 7, shall the town contribute $25,000 to be matched by more than $700,000 of other public and private funds toward the acquisition of plus or minus 329 acres of land on Buffalo Mountain to become a town forest to protect recreational access, fish and wildlife habitat, forestry, and Lamoille River water quality, and to provide outdoor educational opportunities for school children, which was acted upon by a floor vote at town meeting on March 3rd, 2026. At this time, my role is to certify the sufficiency of the petition and present it to the select board for further action. Upon receipt of a valid petition, the select board is required to warn a special town meeting to reconsider the article. The board must set a date within 60 days of town clerk's receipt of the petition. This meeting must be warned no less than 30 days and no more than 40 days of meeting. Petition was received and verified on March 26, 2026, so the last date to hold a meeting would be May 25th, 2026. It does require 30 days for warning, so keep that in mind. And then some other important things. The vote must be from the floor and at the townhouse, the same as the original vote from town meeting. And voters can only force the reconsideration vote of an article by petition once within a period of 1 year from the first vote.
Great, thank you, Tanya. Any questions on the process of that? So tonight, or it's just 1 second. So tonight we're really discussing setting a date for the reconsideration of this vote is the item. Is there any discussion about that?
And it has to be at least 30 days.
It has to be within at least 30 days. There was a recommendation of the 19th of May, which would align well with the town clerk's office. I did check that with Tim, who is not here tonight, and he would be available for that as well. That is not a weekend, as the survey says, but often we have our special meetings in the evening, so we could potentially hold it in the evening.
Townhouse is available.
And the townhouse is available as well.
So that's one proposal, is May 19th in the evening.
Yes, that's one proposal.
Before you vote, I have a point of order, which takes precedence.
Could you state your name, please?
Whereas Ainsworth.
Yes?
And I have paperwork for you so you can read the state law that pertains to this. I copied it out of the book that I've received every time I've gone to annual moderator training. It's the first item on the top of the page about paper ballots. I have one for everybody.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I want to clarify that in the minutes, you do not make a motion. These are the minutes I received for town meeting. You do not make a motion for a paper ballot. Someone just states it's a paper ballot. The moderator was supposed to ask, are there 6 other people? And you have them. With a total of 7, you are required to do a paper ballot. Hardwick has not done anything, as it states in here, they could do prior to a meeting that says, because of the number of people here, we're not going to do paper ballots, everything will be by voice or standing. But that has not been done. So the motion here that Reno Demers asked for a paper ballot and had 6 seconds is incorrect. It's illegal, and Robert's rules does not pertain to a paper ballot. State law does, and this came out of my moderator book that I received from the state.
Whereas, can you clarify what you're saying? So are you saying that the motion that Reno made was illegal? Or
Was
that
illegal. You don't make a motion, you just stand and say paper ballot. I request a paper ballot. So there didn't need to be a second. The moderator should have simply said, are there 6 other people? And once that happens, you must do a paper ballot. So your voice vote or hand vote or however you took it has no bearing on the outcome of that article. That article technically was, according to proper etiquette, was never voted on and never passed. Because she said, it says here that the motion failed, so then they had to do another motion that says pass by hand count, and that's an illegal point of order issue that should not have happened. It's not valid.
So I hear what you're saying, and that law, and I looked into this, and I'm a question I have for you is a voice vote and a hand vote has to happen before a paper ballot is requested
No.
in that law.
You can do it that way.
So all I'm saying is that whole process has to be carried out in order, and somebody can say, I think that happened in the first vote. Somebody said, well, we're gonna automatically go to a paper ballot, or they said, well, let's forego the hand vote, forego the voice vote.
The 20 years that I've been moderator,
Yeah.
we've never done, pardon?
But you weren't in this case.
I realize that, but it's still the same law. It's still the same procedure. Nothing has changed.
Agreed.
And what it is say you voted on giving these people their licenses in your town meeting. And I stand up and say, I want a paper ballot on that to clarify, because I don't believe you read the crowd right. If I get 6 other people.
So right there, you're assuming there was a voice vote and a hand vote by what you just said.
Yes.
Okay.
But that didn't happen.
Correct.
You had a person stand up and say, I want a paper ballot. 6 people agreed with that person. You have to have a paper ballot. You can vote till the cows come home on something else, but it does not count, it is not germane, it is not proper, it is totally illegal. And I have the document back there that I copied these out of.
So, based on that, I hear what you're saying. I think the petitions that were handed in are basically correcting.
I'm hoping that's what happens.
So it really, the argument here that a certain procedure wasn't followed at town meeting is really null and void at this point because we're having a special meeting
But I also,
to discuss this.
I
And
have also been to board meetings where the board has looked at 300 signatures on a petition and said, tough, we're not going to do it.
it's a different situation.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
It's a
verify.
request for a special meeting.
Right, and that's what, and it's to do this one article.
Well, we have 2 items, so there's more than just this one
And
article.
I see that in your other one where during other business, which is non-binding, which is article or item 7 on your agenda, that you're looking at a resolution that is also not allowed because it is not within the authority of the select board to do something for people in another country.
Well, that non-binding resolution was voted on at town meeting
I
already.
know it was, but it was not allowed because it's not
Or
germane to the
that's
business
also-
of the town.
Can I also just say a point of order that that's going to be a further item? So we will get to that.
Okay.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
So I know you're
I'm sorry.
excited, I know you're
I'm
excited, but we'll
sorry.
get to that one. So tonight, I think, I don't want to speak for the board, but we recognize that petition and we're setting a date for that revote.
Okay,
So that,
and that is the other thing I wanted you to know how it should be done
yep.
at that meeting.
And I don't think anybody would argue that that was a confusing point at town meeting. And
And I'm sorry I wasn't there, but I have had health issues and I could not
Yeah.
have tolerated a town meeting.
No
we're
need
happy
to
We're happy
apologize.
to have you here now.
We appreciate you.
But, so I think that that's, I wouldn't, we are setting a date for
Okay.
that, for that revote. But I appreciate the clarification and,
And can you also let us know more information about that?
that
And
item.
with the item and what you're gonna do with the land and how it got to this point?
Yep.
Because I've tried to read everything I can find and I'm totally confused.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of information. Thank you.
Where are we? We're in discussion of, no, did we make them?
We have not, so the, just so Orice had a quick point of order, which was, thank you, Orice.
You're welcome.
So we were in the middle of discussing a date for this petition. I would recommend that the select board, typically how it works, the select board will make a motion in a second, and then there's a point for discussion of that item.
Right.
I would recommend that we do that, and then we can open up discussion for that. But would need a motion to either set a date for that.
I have a question. Could I
Well-
ask?
Could you wait 1 second,
Well,
please?
it may pertain to when you're going to have this vote and what time and all that good stuff. So that's,
Sure.
so
Could you state your name, please?
Roberta Foster,
Okay.
and I'm the one who started the petition because for one thing, I was at the town meeting that day and I was not impressed with the way people just raised their hands and people were counting. Do we have a tally? Do we even know what those numbers were? Secondly, who is the ones? Was it you that voted to do this on the floor? Because something of this magnitude should have been on the Australian ballot. I've never before in my life not seen something of this magnitude not on a paper ballot, Australian ballot. That right there is not okay because for one thing, a lot of people work and could not get here on town meeting day. And that's what I'm saying for this meeting. We're here and I've got lots of support. We want an evening meeting or a meeting vote, so that people at work are able to get here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think we are talking about an evening vote on
Okay.
Tuesday, May 19th.
So,
I didn't
Is
hear
what
evening.
we're, no, and somebody has already voiced that it's hard to hear, so if you need us to repeat any of those details, and we haven't made a motion yet. So typically how it works is somebody would make a motion, we would talk about it. That motion can be voted down by the select board if there's something incorrect, or if we, after the discussion, if we feel like it needs to be changed. So that is a part of the process too. Happy to describe the process at any time. And Orice will correct me if I get it wrong. Larry, you want to?
I want to make a motion to hold the special meeting on May 19th at 6 PM? Is that the right time? Is that a good time?
I would say 7, because
What do you,
I would say
what? I mean,
6:30 at least, I would think.
So, my motion is to, is to make the special meeting May 19th at 6:30 PM. I don't, and we can debate it, and if it is seconded, you know.
For,
For consideration of,
for
for
reconsideration.
reconsideration of Article 7 from town meeting. Is that enough?
That was well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to have the date for the reconsideration be May 19th at 6:30 PM. Is there any discussion? Can you please state your name, sir?
Ben Paquin. So, just curious, so if this, on May 19th, this vote, so it passes or doesn't pass, what is the process beyond that? Does it be the next, question with this, if, and either way, say, the vote goes, and this is jumping the gun maybe too, but if the vote gets voted down, that the people that vote by however on May 19th, is still, does this hold off? What does this do to this process? It extends it, obviously, the acquisition process.
It's a great question. Hannah, can you hear me?
Do you want me to answer that?
Oh, or Opie, go ahead.
I can answer that.
Thank you.
My understanding of it is the select board was approached in September, I think it was August or September, and asked if the land was purchased by an outside organization, would they take the land as a town forest? And they voted at that time to take that property. During that conversation, there was an indication that for the strength of the project, a monetary amount from the town would show the support for the project. There was no monetary amount decided on, but I'm not 100% sure where the $25,000 came up, but the $25,000 came up, it was put on the article at town meeting, and that is what is being reconsidered. If that doesn't pass, my understanding of it is the $25,000 would have to come from somewhere else. But it would not stop the town from taking the land as a town forest. My understanding of it.
So if the land is a done deal per se, it's where this extra money comes from, is what we're arguing over.
So
That's my understanding.
Could I also ask, so we do have Hannah here for the Trust for Public Land, who has been through this process with many different towns. I don't know, Hannah, if you want to also clarify that point as well, if you have anything to add.
That's Hannah Redmond, Trust for Public Land, that's my understanding as well of what the select board voted on, and what the town voted on, and the $25,000 number, that's what will get contributed to their town forest. There's no precise science for what that number should be, and that's really something when funders are looking at a project, they want to see town commitment, and they saw that vote and were, felt happy with that. So I don't know that this reconsideration vote, that could have an impact on funders' decisions to provide funding for the town forest, or if not.
So just to clarify, it's possible that if this didn't pass, that there would be potentially less grant funding, or it wouldn't.
It's possible. So far, the funders have, BCB, and some private donors we've been talking to have indicated that they feel very positive about the project, either way.
Thank you.
These are the minutes to the July 10th meeting. And it has that on there. You're happy to look at them.
Yeah, I just wondered that. Yep.
Are there any other questions? Sue, do you want to come forward because you're so far back? I know you don't want to, but.
I have two questions, I guess. The first one is, when we first started talking about this, the December 8th minutes, there was an item where I had expressed concern with the whole, how this all came about. And So just quoting the minutes, it says, Sue mentioned her concern again with the whole dynamic of the town already accepting the property. David questioned whether a town vote is required to purchase the property, noting that the property would be purchased by Northern Land Trust and then gifted to the town. He stated that there is a statutory process for acquiring forest land. Hannah believed the approval rests with the select board, but David stated he would look into whether voter approval is required. More discussion will occur January 8th. And then I looked at and I didn't see anything in the January 8th minutes, so I don't know where.
Yep, that's to sell property.
It says acquires.
We're not selling property. So the statute,
Acquiring forest land for the town.
but
it says.
the required voter approval is to sell property. So if we have land,
That's not what it's saying.
The minutes say, he stated that there's a statutory process.
yeah,
for
that
acquiring
statutory
forest land.
process that I was talking about, I was mistaken, it's to sell property. So if we were to divest land in the town, we would need voter approval, which we needed for recent selling land.
But you don't.
But we don't need it to buy it.
So then my other question would be, I guess, if we're going on what Ori's was presenting, and you're saying that the revote would have to be by floor, she was saying that process is null and void, so with the revote, would you discuss it being a ballot vote versus a floor vote?
Yeah, if the
So
property,
just 1 second, would you state your name, and just what, Maureen, just give me 1 second, I'm sorry. I think it would be helpful tonight to address certain questions as they come in, so everybody, is yours connected to what Sue was saying?
it is.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
And I was thinking the same thing, if what Tanya read, that it would have to go by hand vote, floor vote. And if the process was illegal in the beginning, then why would it have to do illegal again, basically? If it was voted in by floor and that wasn't okay, then it shouldn't be voted in by hand vote again. It should be on a paper vote or an Australian ballot or some other way.
Thank you, and it is confusing. So just to clarify, what Ori's was talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ori's, is what was actually illegal was the motion
What she
to
believes is
go,
illegal.
believes is illegal, was the motion to go into a paper ballot. Where it is, what she's saying, is that somebody can state they would like a paper ballot, and if 6 people raise their hand and say they want a paper ballot, it just goes into paper ballot. What she's contesting is that there was a motion and a second, and that wasn't necessary. So when it's right now we're discussing if we're gonna have this, if it's gonna be the May 19th that we're going to do this. On that day, somebody could stand up in that special meeting and say, I want a paper ballot, and 6 people can say, we want a paper ballot, and we can do a paper ballot. We're not saying you can't do a paper ballot, but the way that our voting currently works is that it would be a voice vote unless somebody stands up and asks for a paper ballot. Does that clarify it? Does that make sense?
Not particularly, but.
Did I say that correctly?
So
Yeah, I think so.
my understanding of it is the reconsideration has to be the same type of vote.
But it wasn't
Her
correct.
comment was, it was illegal to begin with.
That is,
Okay, can I
but,
clarify?
hold on, that is based on one person,
Oh, no.
so
Based on law.
she's not law. She's not law. She's,
Can I
yeah,
clarify what I said?
I'm gonna get to the point in the, sorry,
Okay, can I interrupt for a
sorry.
second? I understand that there are a lot of emotions around this, but this is a meeting of the select board, and we have to say our names, so that way we can be recording appropriately in the minutes. We already just had a complaint about minutes, so if you could please state your name, but also love it if David Upton could finish his thought, and then we will open it up to questions. So can you finish what you?
I'm gonna read this paper that Ori's just gave me. I'll read it aloud. So paper ballots. Roberts requires a majority vote of those present and voting to demand a paper ballot. State law allows a paper ballot on the request of 7 voters unless the town has provided some other procedure. 17 VSA 2658. One town, for instance, decided at the beginning of a municipal meeting, a paper ballot votes were too time consuming to remain at the whim of 7 voters and voted to require a majority vote on a request for a paper ballot. A moderator may, of course, decide at any time to use any form of voting, paper included, by saying as a preface, if there's no objection, we'll vote by paper on this motion. If a single voter objects, then 7 voters may request a paper ballot. If 7 voters not support a ballot, then no paper ballot may be used for that question. My point in reading this is that at any time, a moderator can change the course and decide any form of voting, and there was a motion made to change the way the meeting ran, and it was voted on by the body. So at that time, as long as those Robert's rules are being followed during the meeting, the body, the voting body within that meeting can change the way the meeting is conducted. That, I am not an attorney. That is my interpretation of it based on what Ori's provided tonight.
Andrew, did you have a?
Claire, no, oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
When you did the floor vote with people raising their hand, how did you know how many of those people were actually registered voters in Hardwick, the town of Hardwick?
And just, do you mind stating your name again?
Claire Hill?
Thank you.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking whoever, how did you know that the people that voted raised their hand for that, was a hand raised vote, right? That they were registered voters?
Well, I will say that we had a paper ballot, the item before for the budget, and everyone who voted for the paper ballot is checked for that.
But
So
But
we
not a paper
also,
ballot, and you took that as a vote for the town. How do you know that people that were there were registered voters of Hardwick? That voted for that?
so, I mean, what I would say to that is, first of all, in previous town meetings where we have voted on the budget, nobody's asked that question. So, yes, it's always a question, because we're not asking everybody's individual name, and we're not asking for their address. I will say, I think we have information from the budget vote about how many people voted. We checked everybody. We do have the numbers that were counted by hand. So, we weren't IDing everybody, but we also had the justices of the peace help us count. I counted personally, Eric counted, the moderator counted as well. There were multiple people counting. So I don't know if, Tanya, if you want to add anything about the process
I
for the
do.
paper
So
vote?
I've heard from several people this concern, so I have made a change for future, if there's still town meetings, or for this upcoming one, so the meeting's at 6:30, I will recommend everybody come 30 to 40 minutes early, because you'll have to come down to me at my table to get checked in. You'll be handed a certain colored, which no one will know until that day, index card, and that will be for a voice vote. Instead of you just saying aye or nay, you'll have to hold your card up. So make sure you give yourselves plenty of time to check in at a check-in table. So I have heard those concerns, and I have fixed it for what I hope will be a fix.
I was just gonna recommend that.
I would also just add too, Tanya, do you want to mention, and I totally understand not recognizing everybody. I don't know everybody in Hardwick, for sure. Tanya, do you mind telling us how many, off the top of your head, how many new voters we have this
Do
year?
you remember?
I do,
Just
and
emailed it
Rachel,
to-
and I asked Tanya, because I had heard this, how many new voters have registered in the town of Hardwick in the last 5 years?
700 something, is it?
715 new voters registered in this town. So, yeah, there's a lot of new people that have moved in. There's young people that come up. There's a lot of people moving to town, and we don't always get a chance to meet. There's a lot of people. Yeah, it's eye-opening.
That's just this year?
5 years.
Oh, 5 years, I
5
missed it,
years.
okay. That makes a little more sense.
We have 2 more comments. Paul, your hand was up first, and I'll get to you, Reno.
Yeah, hi, Paul Sims, Hardwick resident. I think I heard in the jumble of people saying things that people are looking for the vote that this motion is about to be by Australian ballot. And even with Horizon's claim that this was an illegal vote, it needs to be the same kind of vote. And there was no Australian ballot vote that day at town meeting. So this vote cannot be an Australian ballot. This vote has to be from the floor.
from the floor, and then there could be the request.
The motion.
Right, there could then be the request for paper ballot,
Great, thank you,
which is
Paul.
different from Australian ballot.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Even though
standing
they're
over
both
your
on
job. Reno was next. Just state your name, please, sir.
Reno Demers, as I understand it, as Rachel just said, there are 700 people registered to vote in the town of Hardwick. Do you not represent
New.
new people? So how many in all?
Within the last 5 years.
2,333.
So-
Repeat that, 2,333 registered voters in the town of Hardwick.
Okay, so are you not supposed to represent the whole body? Huh? So why is it not on Australian ballot so that everybody can go to the polls and vote on these articles? There's no reason whatsoever that this should have been narrowed right to, as far as we're concerned, course into a specific result. And it was wrong. It should have been on Australian ballot for all. And this board should not represent one side or the other. You're supposed to be neutral and bring it all so that all have a chance to vote. Now, Australian ballot, you set a date and you still didn't have a result of exactly your claim. And as Ori says, there was a paper ballot request, and here we are. It should go to Australian ballot, open it as in the polls, and make it so people can come and vote.
We can't. We'd be breaking the law if we did it that way.
So,
In the future, we can do it that way. That's the next item on the
so
agenda.
that is the next item. I will also, definitely don't want to argue with you, Reno, but I will say that we are all elected and represented. So people either vote for us or they don't, but we are elected by you. And it might not be everybody in this room, but everybody sitting at this table is elected by people in Hardwick. So we're just representing Hardwick as best we can.
I'm not elected.
No, but they
That's
hired
Tanya
me.
over there. I did see, so I did see over here, state your name, please, sir.
Joe Udell. I'm with a slightly different subject that Reno was talking about, but I'm just curious if...
You gotta come forward.
Yeah, come a few steps forward. Yeah, thank you.
I was just curious if the town knows how much it costs to run a special meeting? Like how much will this end up costing the town to do this?
I know.
Like in terms of staff time?
Yeah, time and money, I guess specifically. I'm just curious.
I don't think we have a specific answer for that right now.
But salary, so my time is free.
Yeah, I'm free.
I will answer that by saying you're all paying for everyone's time here, so, however that works out.
Some more than others.
Some more than others, so, but we don't have a specific answer for that. It's a good question, other than just the time of, advertising for that and then running the meeting. It's hard to know specifically.
It doesn't cost anything to use the townhouse.
Yes, sir.
Ashton Allen. Given that we have over 2,000 registered voters in Hardwick, and we know that the townhouse does not hold 2,000 people, is that an appropriate location for the reconsideration of Article 7 that was voted on at town meeting?
I believe that, doesn't the law require that we hold it in the same venue?
Same location.
Same style of voting and the same venue?
So moving forward, is it appropriate that a building that does
Yeah.
not hold anywhere near the capacity of the legal voters in the town of Hardwick is the place where the meeting is held?
That
Or
is,
we pay for a high school gymnasium that has bleachers that can hold a hell of a lot more people in the town. That seems like a little bit more appropriate place to have the meeting that could represent the town.
It was on the warning.
Sorry,
I said that was on the warning at
Yeah.
town meeting.
Yeah.
yeah.
And voted on, and the folks that were still left there voted to have the townhouse
But
next year.
Ashton, if you weren't here at the very beginning, there's a survey for town meeting right there with your name on it. All right,
He's got it.
good. Okay, are there any other items before we put this date to vote? You state your name, please.
Jennifer Deal. I guess I just want to clarify. So the land is bought. We own
No,
it.
it's not.
No.
Hasn't closed
I
yet.
guess I'm confused then. So
It's closed.
The town isn't buying the property.
Yeah, so,
Well, but it's already in the works. We have no say on whether the town obtains it or not at this point. It's already pretty much a done deal. That's
So-
what you're telling us. We're only here
Paid for it.
discussing if we're gonna put 25,000 in. We're not negotiating whether we take the property or not. It's done. We're taking, the Conservancy or whatever's taking it. We're just discussing 25,000.
so, yes, let me rephrase as I understand it, where we are in the process, as Opie was saying before. So, the item that came up for town meeting was to put funds, funds from the town of Hardwick towards the project. The town of Hardwick isn't buying the property, it will be gifted once there's grant funding, once the sale fully goes through. Once it's closed, then it would be gifted to the town of Hardwick. So we aren't buying the property,
Yes.
but this $25,000 is showing other grantors that we have some skin in the game for the property. This was mentioned at quite a few of the informational sessions, and certainly at the select board. It happened for the town of Woolkit. That $25,000 did come back to the town after through grant funds. So it's expected that that would also happen in this case if it were to pass during the reconsideration. I would say I am not the expert on the details of the funding process. I think that Hannah, who's here tonight, the Conservation Commission, who's worked really hard to put this together. There have been many, many different informational events before town meeting about this, so there's a lot of information on it. In terms of just the general process where we are right now, obviously we're talking about right now having a meeting to see if we're committing this $25,000. The select board decided last fall to take that land if and when everything goes through and the nonprofits basically buy it and then give it to us. The select board at the time decided to do that. Now, if that $25,000 passes, that's really saying to those funders, as you already heard, how much we're willing to put towards the project. And then the other next step in the process is creating a plan for that land and involving everybody in the community to make it what Hardwick wants. So that is a big part of the process before the sale is finalized. And please, Hannah, jump in if I'm saying something incorrect. You are the master of this. So we've already gotten 8 letters of interest, which is amazing, from lots of different people. So the select board has not yet approved the charter to create the committee. I would say that we talked about it at the last meeting, and something I was going to bring up in old business in terms of like getting it out to the community, that we first of all we need to pass that, and then also take in more applications for that to decide who's on the committee. But that's kind of, I don't know if that helps, Jennifer, but that's kind of where we are in the process, that this $25,000 is important for the project because it signifies to the funders how Hardwick feels about it.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, like, at what point, who made the decision to just acquire it? Just the select board? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. And when was that decided? So all those other meetings and stuff are kind of a moot point now. I mean, we're just talking about a measly $25,000 now. But at what point, who made the decision to go ahead with this conservancy stuff and whatnot? Who made that decision?
So the select board made that decision in the fall.
They did, okay.
So there was an initial meeting where the project was presented to us. We provided questions and feedback on that, and then it was brought back. And Hannah and Jack both came and described the process. Throughout the past few months, we've talked to Woolkit because they just finished this process. So we talked to the town of Woolkit. We've learned about that steering committee. And then I would just also say to Opie's point, there are many times where land acquisitions come before the select board, and we decide whether or not we're taking them. It can be big, it can be small, but there isn't a process. Like there isn't a process for us to have a town vote to acquire property. Usually it's smaller. It's like valued at smaller amounts, but it sometimes is bigger too. So, but that decision was made in the fall.
Can I speak?
Yes, Stephen.
Bill Mercer. I'm just curious, if this goes through with the conservation board and everything else, is the land gonna be totally tax exempt? And there, you have a steering committee that's gonna be formed to decide what to do with it, but how much control, if they take it over, are you gonna have? Is it gonna be no hunting, no four-wheelers, no anything else? So that's, and the tax exempt thing is what really kills me, because the town seems to keep taking land off the tax payers, and we're paying for, somebody's gotta pay. So our taxes keep going up. If we take land off the tax, the grand list. So those are things that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the only one on the select board. to
And
talk
land's
about it.
forever.
So if anybody
I
wants
mean,
to-
land is forever. Once you lose it, you don't get it back.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you, Phil. I don't want to be the only one speaking
No,
on the
that's
select
fine.
board, but, I couldn't, land is forever, absolutely. To answer your first question, yes, when the town, if and when the town acquires it, we wouldn't be taxing ourselves for it. That being said, at previous meetings, there's been lots of talk about that property creating revenue, either direct revenue from donations or rentals, but then also the indirect revenue of tourism through, and we talked also about, hunting, ATVs, snowmobiles, all of those things. Like, it's a very unique property in that there are existing trails that already impact the economic development of Hardwick, especially snowmobiles. So the stewardship committee, the committee of people that are representatives of the community, all of you, not all of you, probably only 16 or 17, decide how we're going to use it. And then present that to the select board, and then the select board would say, that sounds good. That being said, it is still owned by the town of Hardwick. So if something has to change, that committee could potentially review it again, the select board could review it again. It would be ours. So we would decide how to use that property.
I'd like to see that guaranteed, but.
I just want to add slightly as far as, Rachel Kane, sorry. I've been doing it every time.
Yes.
We figured that the loss of property tax is approximately $5,000 a year.
6,300. I have the tax paper.
Well, Ken's here, I mean, that's what, well, that,
It goes up a bit.
that's what we've assumed, but it's, because it's been in current use and stuff, so.
Yeah, well,
that's what
what's the
that's what I do.
benefit if people built hunting camps on top and all the property and had taxes paid on every individual lot and all that? That's my point. And if this happens, the land's gone.
So
I
I'm
don't know how you
going
pay
to,
it, any different.
thank you for all of your comments. We do have a motion and a second on the table. We are still going to be, we do have another item for a special meeting as well. Is there any other discussion about item 3? So just a reminder of the motion. Casey, are you taking?
It's May 19th at 6:30.
Okay. The motion is simply, Larry moved,
I
because there's been a lot of
moved.
discussion. Larry moved,
To hold the special meeting to reconsider Article 7 from town meeting, May 19th at 6:30. I didn't mention the location when I made the motion.
You should.
I know, as soon as I said it, I realized it. I can't really edit it now, can I?
Yep, you can do it.
At the townhouse. There you go, I added it.
so we would have to approve the original motion and then do a motion that is amended,
For the location?
because Derek already seconded that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I
for the
didn't mention
original-
the townhouse part.
But so for the original motion, we have a first and a second. All those in favor of the original motion as written, please say aye. You could also vote it down and then do a.
Which would be better to,
All those opposed to the original motion, please signify by saying nay. Nay.
Nay. Because we're gonna vote on it.
Abstentions? You can abstain
Do
from
what you want,
abstentions.
right. We're gonna vote on it again with the correct word, I think.
Okay, so the original motion doesn't pass.
So I have to move again?
All right, Larry, you're up.
All right, so I'm gonna move to hold a special, now I don't remember what I'm saying. A special meeting to reconsider Article 7 from town meeting on May 19th at 6:30 at the townhouse. That's all.
My second.
All right, we've got a second from Dirk. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so there will be, mark your calendars, there will be a special meeting on May 19th at 6:30. Item 4, we have select board to consider holding a special meeting to vote on the following 2 items which petitions have been received for. Quote, shall the town of Hardwick vote to require that all public questions, town budget and appropriations currently voted from the floor at town meeting be voted by Australian ballot beginning with the next annual town meeting, question mark. And a second, shall the town of Hardwick vote to change reconsider votes that were voted on floor to Australian ballot?
What does that mean?
So,
Do we need to make a motion before discussion, or is there just procedurally?
Do you want to mention about the reconsideration?
The language?
What Ed said?
The language on the third petition makes no sense.
Well, that's my fault, but
Yeah,
didn't he say, though, that it's kind of redundant with the
it's
first
something
one?
that's happened in the past. It's something that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So we can't really act on that petition. We can act on the Australian ballot petition. Yeah.
so just to clarify, we did have our town lawyer look at these to make sure that they were lawful, basically, and the first part is, that is something that we can consider. The second, and I can read it again, shall the town of Hardwick vote to change reconsider votes that were voted on floor to Australian ballot? We are going to reject that because it doesn't, the language is in the past tense and just doesn't work. That being said, yeah, it's really all in the initial question about Australian ballot. So that,
I have a question.
sure, can you state your name again, please?
Roberta Foster. With what Wareyes came about, and you can check on this, it sounds like we could possibly have it by Australian ballot if you guys did it wrong on the floor to begin with for the hand ballot. No?
No. It has to
But it can
be,
be by paper.
yes, it can be by
Yes.
paper,
Yes.
but it can't be Australian ballot, because that's an entirely different type of vote. Paper ballot
Right, we
or
would-
hand vote accomplishes the same thing, and we don't specify in the warning which one you're going to use for the reconsideration. And on the floor, someone can stand and say, I want a paper ballot, 6 people will agree, and it has to happen. So you get the same effect, but people have to physically be present to vote. And even a Zoom meeting, people watching a Zoom meeting cannot vote at this point.
In this day and age,
Yes,
this point in history.
yes.
Well, they'd have to have their index card at home.
Did you have a question, Megan?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I think I was gonna say, yes, do we need to,
It's not a reconsideration.
do we need to make any kind of motion about the third petition? We're rejecting it, do we do that by motion, or is it rejected? How's that?
No
work?
action.
You want parliamentary
we'll just-
advice?
I don't.
I think a motion never hurts for this kind of thing, personally. So I would recommend, if the select board wants to reject, the recommendation from our town lawyer is to reject that. So I think a motion would make that really clean, and then we can discuss
Okay.
moving the
Because
first
it's-
part. So it really almost
so
should have
I
been
have
two
two-
separate items.
Okay, so then I'm gonna make 2 different motions, one at a time,
Yes.
if I could.
Um,
I mean, I'll do one, and then we can talk about
Okay,
the second
yeah,
one. I mean,
okay.
someone else can make a second one, I don't have to do it, but I got them in my head, so I'm gonna do it. if
Okay,
no
so
one else
start with
does.
one.
The first motion that I'm gonna make is that we hold a special meeting to vote on the petition, beginning with the words, well, I don't know, how do I, pause for 1 second, how do I indicate which petition this is? Number 2?
Do you, here?
Well, I mean, do I want to,
I would just read it.
okay, so let me start the motion again. I move that we have a special meeting to consider the petition, quote, "Shall the town of Hardwick vote to require that all public questions, town budget, and appropriations currently voted from the floor at town meeting be voted by Australian ballot beginning with the next annual town meeting," end quote. On May 19th at 6:30 at the townhouse.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
There.
Good job.
I would say that you don't need to put in the motion to consider you don't need to mention the petition.
I already did.
I know, but I tried to stop you. It doesn't matter,
It makes the people that sign the petition feel like they amounted to something.
there you go. Keep it in there.
Okay, so we have a motion,
And that's the same night.
It's the
We should
same,
have it
yeah,
on
I-
a different night.
You need a second.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
And we have,
I'll second.
okay, so we have a second from Derek. Do we have any discussion about that?
Let's take his question first, I guess.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Ben Patton. So a discussion about this, you worded it to vote on May 19th at 6:30, whether we decide Australian ballot. So in my understanding, if the select board as a body could decide 6 months ago to acquire a chunk of land, so why can't the select board as a select board decide that the rest of the votes in the town of Hardwick are going to be Australian ballot from here on out?
Because of the law.
Because we have to consider the voting, in this particular instance, we have to consider the voting the governing body, the voting body, not the legislative body.
With a land deal of acquiring a big parcel of land like that, you didn't need to?
No.
Or is there a monetary, maybe this is a whole different thing, but in the future, is there a monetary amount that, a $500,000 land deal, should the taxpayers, should there be some sort of a notice for the taxpayers?
I have a solution for that in new business, if you stick around to the end of the meeting. I do.
There were cookies, Ben, so if anybody wants a cookie, they might have been scarfed up, so stick around.
So you call a point of order to go get a cookie.
Are there any?
I have a question. So basically, if this motion were to be voted on and passed by the voting body on the 19th of May, essentially we are doing away with town meeting?
No, you still have to have town meeting to elect the officers.
No?
So what I would do is I would include the officers in that vote at the special meeting. So so it says appropriations
And everything voted from the floor.
and everything voted from the
So
floor.
that includes your elections.
Well, it
That's what I
says
just said.
No,
public
but you said a special
questions.
meeting. You don't need a special meeting. They're on the Australian ballot.
Right, so you would include
But it
all of
doesn't say
that.
everything from the floor on the petition.
The
They
petition,
can amend it to say that, but it doesn't
Well,
say it
Yeah,
on.
but I thought
Right.
that's what he was saying, that you'd
yes.
hold a special
But I
meeting
think
for
she was asking
elections.
about what would happen. to
No,
it.
I said we'd hold a town meeting. That's the only thing that would keep us, the town meeting
My
alive.
question was, doesn't this make town meeting no
Not,
longer?
and you're not saying the motion to have the special meeting, you're saying the petition. If
Okay.
we vote on that
The
petition,
process,
it seems
if
like
I
we would have a town meeting that has nothing to vote on.
Right.
I've been over.
Whereas Ainsworth, I have a sister that lives in Fairfax. We've talked about this because Fairfax is fairly close to Hardwick in size and whatnot. And they have a town meeting on Saturday where most people can attend that goes over your book, goes over your warning, and they discuss every single item. And then you've educated your voters
Yeah.
who on the first Tuesday in March would then go to the polls and vote on every article that's in your town report on your warning. So in essence, you're having a town meeting, and you can pick when you have it, but they do it on Saturday because most people don't work Saturdays. And they meet and they have lunch and they do this like we used to do. And then they vote town meeting day at wherever the polls are from 9 to 7. And that's how it's done, and that's when I was going to moderator training, that's how people that did Australian ballot explained it and said that's how they did it. And they had bigger turnouts of votes. If you've got 2,000 voters and only 200 people show up, that's a tenth of the population.
I think we had close to 300 this year, but,
So it's still.
but still, so I think just to answer Sherry's original question would be that if your question, Sherry, just so I understand it, was if this passed, then would town meeting, obviously it would look very different, which is also what you're saying, or eyes. So I think for tonight, it makes sense to keep this what it is. We know we're gonna be having a special meeting on the 19th. We can add, my understanding is that we have until, in order to warn that, we could add items to that special meeting.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be warned until April 17th or 18th, I think.
30 days before.
30 days, yeah. Couple weeks.
Which wouldn't really work because like the deadline for our newspaper of record and such, like they don't need to get until the 16th. And then it would need, if it needs to go in on it would need to go in on what, the 16th because it publishes on Thursday the 16th.
Yep.
So then you wouldn't be able to get it until the 23rd, which would be too late.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that wouldn't work, to add something to
Right, because you have to decide tonight so that it can be posted in time for the 30 days.
And what you're saying, Opie, is you're recommending that we add the officers to this, so that way it's not just the officers being voted on. I'm just recapping what was said.
I recommend the same, yeah.
So Tanya and Opie are recommending, so the only item voted on at the floor at town meeting would be the officers. The recommendation would be
No,
to.
but
We want to include them.
No, what I'm saying is, as it stands, if this was voted on, town meeting would look like one floor vote, well, 12 floor votes for all the officers, and then and then nothing else, because everything else would be Australian ballot. So that's my understanding of what you're saying.
because
So if you,
officers don't count as public questions?
No. Yes,
Okay.
they do.
What I think, or as what I'm saying is, we include all floor votes in this special meeting vote,
To make it clear.
to make it clear that town meeting, as it stands right now, goes away.
Yes, and that's what you said.
But
That
you're
any-
shaking your head no, that you don't agree with me.
Any questions, town budgets, or appropriations? And so you just want to add the verbiage officers. You're not pulling them out.
No, I'm adding them in.
Oh, okay, I thought you were pulling that out.
All elected
no,
officials
we're
will be on
talking about
Australian ballot.
elected, so that, yes. Does that
So
make
it's,
sense?
so it's everything.
Yes,
Yes, that's,
from Article 1 to Article 31.
or what the last
Whatever that
article.
number
Yeah.
Whatever the one, yeah.
You can simply use the word all and solve the problem.
You had a different comment?
State your name before you
That's
take
very different. I was gonna say you could say all instead of delineating and finding.
All articles, yeah.
You could amend your,
My
you
question
could amend your
is,
motion.
It sounds like some of the discussion really isn't germane to the question of whether to have this, but what's involved. And I would urge the select board to call a public meeting, call it an information meeting, call it a discussion before this, so that people who come to vote that night have had a chance to hear options and whatnot. And I would also say, I would be against ending the meeting. I think voting officers from the floor and giving the town an extra year when you could in fact vote next to get rid of to vote officers, would give some time to see how this works for the town, rather than potentially ending town meeting immediately.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments? Please state your name, sir.
I'm Eric Remick. I just wanted to note that it seems likely that a special town meeting would have a lower turnout than a regular town meeting. And we're talking about, it seems like there's a lot of concern about people being afforded a chance to vote. And I don't know that there's a rush to change the structure of our town meeting. And you would get more people voting if you just postponed and did it, town meeting 2027.
Thank you.
Joe Medill, I'm just wondering if you have stats on how many people voted on Australian ballot this year versus showed up to town meeting?
I want to say, actually, no, it's 505.
I was gonna say, we
That's
just.
not a
For
guess.
Australian ballot?
For Australian ballot,
How
it
many
was
showed up for
500.
town meeting, do we know?
Would we figure 300, just under? Yeah.
Hi, Rachel Kane. I don't know if Australian ballot versus traditional town meeting is the right thing or not, but that's a pretty serious decision for a town to make in a change, and to think about making a decision like that May 19th, just to even let people know what could be happening. And it's a pretty big change, and I think there needs to be more time given to something like that, because I think a lot of people would just feel like, what's left? And I'm not saying that it's not the way to go, but that needs to be really talked about and explored, and maybe there's some other options, different times and so forth, days to look into, but it's a pretty serious move, so I think an idea to defer that, still have that discussion or vote, but end of May is, there's just not time to get the word out and really talk about this, such a serious decision.
That petition has statutory deadlines, 60 days, 30 days to warn it. So the end of May isn't.
So basically, this special meeting is we're gonna hold that special meeting
Yeah.
in the way we would hold town meeting to have a vote
In discussion.
on whether or not this is gonna go away. So that meeting is that meeting you're talking
Okay,
about.
but can you clarify the timelines? Is that if we accept a petition, is that the way to think of it?
So I was incorrect. After we spoke to the town attorney,
Yeah,
that particular one, you have to accept it. Is that correct? That's what we got from Ed?
I missed the first question, sorry.
This petition, where I originally was incorrect.
Hey, you
because
have to hold
you
a
have
special
to hold a
meeting.
special meeting. I
so
was
it's
incorrect.
not about us accepting, we have timelines imposed on us that
You-
are
statutory
60 days, 30 days
60
warning,
from
the
time
same
this
as the
petition was
reconsideration.
received, correct.
Just to have a meeting.
And there will be time to have
To
a
vote.
discussion, just
to
like
vote on it.
tonight,
To have the meeting.
at that meeting.
Okay.
It's essentially another town meeting.
Yes.
I think the point of having
So-
some information before that is a good one for both items that are being reconsidered. Our regular select board meetings are certainly a time to do that, and we have a couple before that, so we could, potentially add an agenda item to discuss those further. We could also talk in new and old business about maybe setting up a special informational meeting. Mary, you had something you wanted to sound? No? Okay, sorry. Okay, so are there any other comments? So we do have a motion and a second to have a special meeting to vote on the first item in the agenda on May 19th at 6:30. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. We have one opposed. Abstentions? And the motion passes with 3 ayes. Thank you all for your feedback. The next item, and we do have a lot more, so please feel free to say it. We like engagement. The next item 5, select board to review 3 new policies. We have federal grant compensation, payment and cash management, and travel costs, and consider approving those. Okay.
So I included a memo in here, just explaining that, we already have financial management and procurement policies. These are basically just supplements to address some deficiencies, through our audits, just to clean it up a little bit. And so, just talking about how So the federal grant compensation policy, just what's reasonable and allowed, payroll documentation, internal controls, very short. Again, these are just supplements to our existing policies. We're already doing all of these things. Payments and cash management, most of our grants are reimbursements. So we spend the money and then request reimbursement, and we retain all the records and all the copies of the expenses for that. And then travel.
Hey guys, can you let her talk?
And then
Thank you.
travel cost, again, is very simple. It's just what's allowable, what's not allowable, mileage rate, et cetera. We don't see this a lot in grants, but it should be in place in case we do have it.
Great, thank you, Casey.
I have one question.
Sure.
But first, I just wanted to say the memo that you wrote on top that was really great to read. Like, it just put it in perspective. I read it out of order. I read all the policies first because that's how they were in my folder on the computer. And I was like, huh, why are we doing this? And then I read the memo, and I'm like, yes, thank you, Casey.
Yeah.
My question is there anything significantly new? You said it's a lot like what we already have, it's supplements. Is there anything in these policies that is actually new information, new policy that we're passing?
No,
that we need to just
essentially,
be aware of?
because we're really doing all of these things, we just didn't have it in writing, essentially. And so, like,
Okay.
it's been an item of recommendation in our audits for a couple of years, and we're just kind of getting around to making these now, because we really are doing all of these things now.
We're putting in writing the practices you're already using.
Yes.
That match the
And
federal grant rules.
Yeah, we do get a lot of federal money, so it's really important to have these things because they do look at them when we get a single audit. If we have over $1 million in expenses, which we have for a while, just because of FEMA and whatnot. So yes, it's important to have these. Again, we're already doing all of these things, but we should have them written down.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
And you'll see too that there's periodically throughout the year, we review policies, so Mike might bring a policy, or the select board can also request reviewing a policy too. Any
And
other questions?
all of the policies are on our website too. These 3 will get added as well under finance.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
I don't want to make everybody.
I'll make the motion to approve the 3 new policies, the federal grant compensation, payment and cash management, and travel cost. And consider,
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Great. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Thank you for putting that together, Casey. Next, we have item 6, select board to consider authorizing engagement of Monhegan Safar PLLC for bond counsel services related to the town garage project and approve execution of the engagement letter. That was also in, I don't know, it was in our online folder.
So all we're doing is just basically putting them on notice that we'll want to use them, because when we go to a bond vote, they'll have to prepare all the documents for the bond vote. So it's just engaging them to be part of the process. We won't be applying for a bond this round because we're not ready to. We don't have our funding lined up. We haven't had a bond vote yet. So we're not doing anything this round, which the app is due May 11th. But we'll probably look at doing like the November application if we can work it out to do the bond vote sometime this summer. But this is just engaging the attorney to be our bond counsel for the process.
And we did have a question earlier, Casey, about this costing money. This doesn't cost money.
It's right. It's like you pay by the hour as you use them. So yes, there's no fee just to retain them.
They're already our general counsel.
Any questions about that item?
So I can make the motion that we authorize engagement of, is it Monahan?
Monaghan.
Monaghan Safar PLLC for bond counsel services related to the highway garage project.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Great. All those in favor, they signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Uh,
Abstentions?
Good. I wonder if I should have included approving the execution of that engagement letter. Should I make another motion?
You guys are executing it.
We can just,
It's just signed by
So we
the select
don't-
board chair.
It's okay that it's not in there,
Yep.
in the motion? Okay.
My pile is building here. Okay, great. Motion passes. So item 7, select board to consider supporting an apartheid-free community pledge letter, which is a follow-up from the town meeting resolution, which was voted on at town meeting. That letter was in, right here. So, and then I also have the minutes from town meeting to remind us. Here, got lots of paperwork. So, the motion, to remind everybody, the motion that was made at town meeting was a motion for a non-binding resolution stating, reaffirm our commitment to freedom, justice, and equality for the Palestinian people and for all people, and we oppose all forms of racism, bigotry, discrimination, and oppression. We declare ourselves an apartheid-free community and pledge to join others in working to end all support to Israel's apartheid regime, stellar colonialism, and military occupation. And the motion was seconded by Will Rich, and that was voted on by everybody there as a hand vote. And so was requested at the last select board meeting to review a letter that would be sent, that wouldn't even be signed by everybody, it would just be from me, that would be sent to Governor Scott and the legislators.
Will it be from you on behalf of the select board?
yeah. So, yeah.
All of us.
You're still involved, obviously. Is there any discussion about that?
Or Ainsworth? Anything done under the last article is non-binding, so you are not required to do it. And also, it is not germane to what the Hardwick Select Board's direction is for the betterment of Hardwick Village or Hardwick Town. It is a non-issue in parliamentary procedures for a town meeting.
Thank you.
You're
We
welcome.
we have had before and frequently resolutions at the end of town meeting and other business that are discussed at that time.
Right, but
It's
it
not
doesn't
new to-
require you to take action.
Yes, thank you. Is there any other select board discussion?
I don't really understand it.
We haven't made a motion, have we?
No, we're not.
Okay. I don't want to make a motion.
We are also just considering it. We could also not consider it too. So an action could be, if the select board decides a letter was not a part of the resolution, the non-binding resolution made at town meeting.
Right, it was a
So
request.
this was an additional request to that. I personally feel okay with leaving it as a resolution that was voted on at town meeting and not sending a letter to Governor Scott or the legislators. Still voted on and still, but that is my opinion on it.
Yeah, I don't really understand it, so I don't really have much to say. I don't get it, I guess. I don't know. Someone can clarify. Maybe. I don't get it.
Do you have any specific questions?
Just the whole, I don't understand it.
So
I feel like this is more,
I can read.
like this isn't like a local support type of thing, I don't know.
For sure, it's not in our normal
You know,
purview.
it's
I
just-
think.
it's out of our scope. It's
Right,
none of our business almost,
You
as
know,
a
what
select
a-
board, I think.
I mean, and Derek, what a lot of towns do is, what a lot of town select boards do around Vermont is they pass resolutions about national and international issues to make a statement, to put a point out there, to
Okay.
be heard or something like that. I don't know exactly. It's not part of our regular business, for
Right.
sure. We got nothing, we're not, you know, we're not going.
No.
Not doing anything, taking any votes
Put our
that
nose in
affect
stuff.
what
Need
happens in
to.
Israel. But it's a relatively common practice. Every year we hear about various votes by select boards around the state. My concern isn't so much whether we make a statement. I think that could be a reasonable thing, I mean, about an issue in general. My concern personally is that if we're doing this if we choose to make a statement as a select board about Israel and its actions, then I think we should probably be choosing to make a statement about every other country that behaves poorly. And there are unfortunately other examples of countries who do all sorts of things that I object to vehemently. But I don't want us to spend our time doing that research, and I don't want us to I don't want to personally be involved in singling out Israel for my own purposes. I mean, I've been a couple times. I have a strong connection, and I don't want to be doing that, even if I abhor what they're doing at the moment, and I think I do. But that's separate.
I would also add that the town of Hardwick does currently have an equity resolution which already talks about racism, bigotry, discrimination, and depression, and so that equity resolution is much more broad and is not specific to one group of people, one country. Right. So that's partially why I feel like a letter isn't necessary, because we've already committed to opposing those things. But that's, again,
I agree with that.
I don't know if any other.
So let's just move on.
Okay.
No action.
We can take no action, but we could also, okay.
I would say in the future, when the person is here requesting the letter, you tell them to their face right then, there in that meeting, or authorize me to do it. Because
For
last meeting, the select board said that they would send a letter, so now they're gonna come back here and they're gonna say, why wasn't the letter sent?
No,
I
we said
think
we
said we would
we said
consider
there-
it.
she can bring it to the board. We didn't say we'd send a letter.
I agree. I don't
Okay.
think we said we would actually.
Good. So,
And I'm
that's
happy-
fine.
I'm happy
And I
to
would-
make that call if you want.
Yeah, and now that I've had a chance to think this through since that last meeting, I'd feel comfortable
Okay.
responding during a meeting.
I mean, I would have said it to her if you told me to.
I just, me personally, I didn't have the fully formed thought at the time.
Yeah.
And I took the last 2 weeks to give it.
Yeah, I was just trying to understand.
I mean, I just,
Okay.
the response that I wanted to have personally. So,
Could I recommend that if anybody
State
does
name.
that, Roberta Falls, if anybody in the future, just no to everyone, and that way you're not discriminating against anybody.
Well,
Just,
part of the reason why, we ask for a letter is to have it be an actual agenda item and to actually have that be in a board folder for public record. So the person brought it up in public comment, and so that's actually really, I think, the best way to do it. If somebody wants action in public comment, usually we ask them to provide more information to be an item on an agenda, so that way we can all get the appropriate information. So I really think this is exactly how we should have done it, and the board's just deciding to take no action, and I'm happy to make that phone call
Okay.
if we need to.
Well, no, I'm happy to do it too, but
yeah.
our staff prepared a letter.
Which I really appreciate.
Well, we didn't
also
write
want to-
the
No.
letter.
No, we didn't write the letter. We
Yeah.
got it, actually, it was sent from the town of Thetford to us.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, we're running.
So you come and pay for it. I'm sure that will.
We have another comment, please.
yeah.
Thanks, Paul Fix again. Just for those people listening who might want to do something like this again, my suggestion would be at town meeting, present the letter and ask the select board to send the letter, and then you force them to deal with a non-binding resolution, probably with a vote one way or another. And it solves a lot of this little.
That can be a future discussion, Paul.
I'm
Thank you for that.
offering it, whoever might offer things in the future.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate,
I'm not asking
everything
for
is being
comment.
noted
I'm not
in
asking
minutes,
for
so we
comment.
appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna move on from item 7. We have item 8, finance director to give FY26 quarter 3 budget update.
Yeah, give me just 1 moment to pull it up, please.
Like long enough to run to the bathroom.
This is a good one to do that for.
I know, I don't want to miss it.
Okay. So believe it or not, we're 75% through our fiscal year. Okay, so basically revenues are showing on track. we look here, so I think I've explained this a few times, but for those of you that are new, so tax revenues, that percent collected is really a billed amount, and that's just the way our system works, because we give a big portion of that over to the school. If you look at this budget amount, that's the amount that the town expects to receive if everybody pays. So if we assume that we've collected 75% of our expected revenues, which is 75% of the 3.7 million, 3.8 million closer, our overall percentage would be at 84%. As you can see, grant revenue is really high, but we don't budget for grant revenue. We do have a good amount that's come in, which is FEMA, like for repairs from the 24 flood, and we also have a lot of A&E money, so architecture and engineering money for projects that we received last fiscal year, but we're recognizing in the current year as we spend it. It basically went into unspent revenue last year, but it's being recognized this year because we're actually doing those projects and spending that money. So as I said, we should be at about 75%. We're at 84%, and that's the primary driver in that is that extra grant revenue. But we're on track for revenues. Questions about that? Okay, we'll move on to expenses. So we would expect our expenses again to be at 75% as of March 31st. We're at 71.4. In terms of, so I did separate out the flood expenses, and again, those are those grant expenses where we're spending money for the A&E work, and so it's important to separate that out, and so that's where the 71.46 comes in. As far as anything else, everything's pretty well where it should be. Some of these, like the county and gravel pit taxes shows 94%, but those are paid in full for the year, so we're pretty much there. Appropriations, that's a lot higher now. I actually paid out a bunch of them today, so this was as of March 31st, so yeah, we're good. We're good, on track where we expect to be.
Casey, do you mind just explaining, for those who maybe aren't familiar, what the flood expenses are for this year?
So that's the work that we're doing, like architecture and engineering work, like all the engineer work for Fisher Folly and Tucker Road and Cary Road and
The construction, the wall.
The wall, yes, that's a big one, yes.
Does that include replacing the bridge that they're arguing about up by Greensboro Bend?
The A&E work that we've had done towards that, yes.
So you're
it's
putting the
included in
bridge
there.
back?
No, we haven't decided that yet.
Oh,
So
okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah,
good
no,
question.
but we had to get the process done, like, so that just engineering and work towards a design proposal.
I
but
hadn't
yes.
seen anything and I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did do a survey for that, can you remind me what the next steps are for that bridge?
Final design.
Final design. Final design, so everything needs to be designed in order for us to have an estimate, and then in order for us to approve it, so we're.
To work on it, okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
it's a good question. Any other questions? We're just looking at the expense summary.
I know, I read it.
Oh, okay.
Haley, just on the comment you just made about Bridge 31, I assume we're talking about, and you said we need the final design to approve it. To get the estimate to approve it, do you mean at this point to get the estimate to be able to evaluate whether to proceed? So far as I know, nobody's decided to proceed with that work, is that right?
Correct,
So
we've
it's
not
not
decided.
to decide to approve it, it's to evaluate what to do with it. Just making sure.
Yeah. I will let Opie clarify that one.
We need to have the final design, because FEMA is paying for the A&E, okay? For them to design a bridge for us. Once they design a bridge for us, we need to go back to FEMA and re-obligate the project. What they decide whether or not they're gonna give us the $2.8 million it's gonna cost to replace the bridge.
Roberta Foster, and when is that gonna happen?
When would
Because it does affect a lot of people.
When would
More.
potentially replacing the bridge happen or the design happen?
The decision to replace the bridge, because I was told it was gonna happen in 2026.
Who told you
We're
that?
here.
Who told you that?
We heard it through the grapevine, I think, I was thinking that they. Kristen
Well, you
Leahy-
got-
Kristen Leahy maybe was her name, I swear.
That's fake news.
Well, I guess so.
Put down 2x4s.
I know Kristen didn't tell you that.
I was told,
I'll check in with her.
I was told,
I'll check in with Kristen.
do that.
Yeah.
Because we were told it was gonna go back in 2026. It's been out, what, 3 years?
24.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the budget? Budget update?
Good job.
Great.
Thank you, Casey.
Yes. It's an excellent job to everybody who works for the town.
Yeah.
Great, so the next item is select board to consider approving a water connection application for JP and Sons Properties LLC for 481 Route 14 South, subject to receipt of appropriate state permits. And action is needed. I know we have some folks here, I believe we have some folks here for that item. So I just open it up for discussion. And yes, we do occasionally have wasps hatch out. I do have the gavel ready. If Opie's usually pretty good at smashing.
Do like I do at home and run around with ice water.
They don't sting this time of year.
Can we get like a 1-sentence, 2-sentence explanation of what this is about? Like I understand an application to connect water, but what water, to whom, why? Or not to whom, from, like what water are we talking about and who has to approve what? Because I'm new and I just don't always understand.
Yep. Do you have the application in your select board folder?
I
don't see it in here.
think I read it on the computer.
It was in the packet, I do
What's
have
the
it
business?
here. It's not a business,
It's,
but
It's a
the real
resident,
estate holding is.
a
that-
residential water
Okay,
connection.
so that was part of my confusion. It was, the name on the application was a business
LLC.
name,
It's
but
an
then it was
LLC.
checked off as residential. I got a little confused by that.
Right.
So
It's
that, but also,
Okay,
what else is?
so per our water ordinance,
Okay,
whenever there's a new connection to our water system, they need to apply for a connection.
oh, okay,
And there's a $500 fee,
I saw that.
and you guys approve the connection
Okay,
to our water system. So it's a new connection. The applicant is requesting to tie into our water system within the unified, or the village limits.
okay. So it doesn't change the, kind of the boundary of where we apply, of where we supply water?
Nope.
It just connects with the.
They're just tying into one of our pipes.
Is this how it's done?
Yep.
I wondered. I just figured they'd go to the water place and.
No, we have a water and
This is
a
the
sewer.
water place.
Yeah, I thought it was just coming in, filling it out, paying the fees, and I didn't realize select board had to approve it.
Per the
Is there-
ordinance.
Yep.
Is
That and a
there-
sewer connection.
I mean, is there any downside that we need to learn about, like for the?
We have plenty of allocation, so we
Allocation
have,
means enough water?
we have plenty of water for this request.
Okay.
So if like an amusement park were to do an application, like in the Gazette,
I think I saw that.
like in,
Slip and slide.
and they wanted like 2 million gallons of water a day, then you guys would be like, whoa, no,
So if the people moving in have multiple teenagers, we might want to, no, I'm
I
kidding.
think we have enough water to supply them. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're asking. This is like,
Yeah, no, I
this
just.
is
I
a
mean,
great
I
question.
wanna
This is the
make
best
good
question of the
decisions, and
night
I
right
just
here.
don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So there's no real downside, and it's.
We want more people on the system.
Right, people on
to-
the system, mean they're living
Yeah.
in town and infill
Yeah.
housing, I mean,
Now,
all
does
the
that
things.
put them on the sewer system?
Yeah, I mean,
That's a good question.
You're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead. So in this location, there is no available sewer system for them to tie into
So they have their own.
without a
septic.
crazy cost.
So they
Yeah.
have their own septic.
I think they're working on it.
Okay.
But
So
this,
we'll have-
this would be, this application would be pursuant
so should
to a
we-
wastewater.
Should we hear from them
Okay.
directly? Are they here? Is that appropriate?
You can see if they're here
Oh, I thought they were.
and see if they want to say anything, but I don't know if they're here or not.
Are they sitting right there?
I'm being cagey. Roberta left, so I can
Just tell
kind
us
of,
what
you
to
know.
do.
Oh, I'm here. I'll wait for the answer.
Yeah, no, I mean.
So this is you? Deny it.
Well, that wouldn't be very fair.
I'm not on it.
Jeff, you do not have to say anything if you don't want to, but you're welcome to.
Oh, I don't have nothing to say.
All right.
Okay, and I wasn't asking with an opinion, I was asking just so I knew what I'm voting
I think we might have a motion percolating here.
on. Does it have to percolate? 'Cause it
Would
sounds,
you like to make it, or
No.
did you want me to?
whatever you say.
This is great.
I'll make the motion that we approve a water connection for the application from JP and Son Properties LLC for 481 Route 14 South, subject to the receipt of the appropriate state permits.
I'll second it.
Well
All
done.
right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations, the ayes have it. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
hooking up your water. The next item is item 10, select board to consider participating in the SFY 27 Municipal Roads Grant and Aid Program and authorize the town manager to sign the letter of intent. That is right here.
It's usually me. They can,
So this
no,
is
I can
money
sign.
that
You
we
can
have the
authorize me to sign
opportunity
it.
to do every year to help back roads. So it's an 80-20 grant. The 20% that the town contributes is through in-kind labor from our employees and equipment. They do the work, and then it helps pays for the materials, like for ditching and stone and whatnot. So it's a good thing to participate in. We have an opportunity to participate every year. We just have to say that we want to participate in the program, and then we just go through and pick a project every year and get it approved by them, and then they do the work, and then we get reimbursed. So, and the SFY is state fiscal year 27, to clarify what that is. So this is work that will be done 10/1/26 to 9/30/27 during that time frame, because we already have a project for this year, so this is like for next year.
Okay, great. Any questions for Casey?
So I'll make the motion that we participate in the SFY 27 Municipal Roads Grant and Aid Program and authorize the town manager to sign the letter of intent.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? None. I said aye too, I think. Great, thank you very much, Casey. Motion passes. Item 11, select board to consider approving the final report for the Mill Street scoping study. Action needed. This was in our packet.
I did print one copy.
Oh,
just,
great. There's one copy here, one beautiful
just
copy.
because it's 47 pages, so I didn't wanna.
So just to recap for folks who might not be familiar with the downtown Mill Street, Main Street scoping study is basically, can kind of show it here.
I can bring it up on the screen.
Oh, sure, that would be great, Casey. Thank you.
Sure, give me just a moment.
So the town has been working on this for quite some time.
It was grant funded.
And it was grant funded.
With some pretty robust public engagement.
Yep, so there's been a lot of meetings about it. Kristen has engaged a lot of different folks about it. And so this, we already did see a report, an initial report for this. And then there were some questions that went back to V-Trans and some other questions that were addressed. And so this is the final draft of the report. And could we just explain what happens after if we approve this final report, what the next kind of step is?
Well, I'm just trying to recap it.
I can-
From my go ahead.
Yeah. So this is part of like a program through V-Trans. This would allow us to be able to apply for other grant funded sources for implementation. So really this was a study about walkability.
Pedestrian safety.
So if
Right.
we approve this plan tonight, then the next step would be to go would be basically to potentially get grant funds from V-Trans to do some or all of the.
This doesn't lock us into having to do any of the projects. It's just a plan.
What type of project?
We will just quickly review it so you can see it. It's primarily, I would say it's primarily sidewalks, Orize.
And crossings.
Some curb
and
cuts.
crossings. So this really started in
Takes a lot of parking and access.
Traffic calming.
I don't know what page the,
You're doing fine.
Yeah, it's great.
Fixing.
Takes away a lot of parking.
Fixing, no, oh, go back. So this fixes that intersection on Glenside Avenue. There's a plan to fix that intersection coming off of Glenside.
Thank you.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
So part of that, just to recap that, what Opie said, so the final draft includes reconfiguring how Glenside Avenue hits Mill Street, which we know is a challenge right now, so there's a plan to redo that area. I would say other than that, it's primarily sidewalks, and as Derek was saying, crossings, redoing crossings, potentially doing some bump outs, redefining some of the parking, I would say.
so I'm still in existing
Okay.
conditions here, so I'm gonna
It's a
go
long
down to.
report. Could you please state your name, please?
I'm sorry, Paul. Glenside was sort of the biggest and most expensive and last suggestion of theirs. But the biggest thing it does that'll affect people in safety right off is move where the driveway into the post office goes so that it's closer to the post office and further from that dangerous corner coming
Yep.
around from South Main Street. So that's the biggest safety issue I personally felt.
It also creates actual sidewalk space versus walking across what feels like you're walking in the road. Because there's no sidewalk delineated.
So starting on page 27 here is
Yeah.
where they go over the different types of
Alternatives.
packages you could do, like do nothing, baseline treatment, moderate, or comprehensive, and then it goes over what those would entail. This is gonna be on our website under the attachments for the select board meeting minutes, so you can look at the whole report. It'll be up there. But then they go over, like, here's what alternative looks like, and explain, and shows pictures
Yeah,
of
hold
what
that
that
stuff
would
for one
do.
second. Can you just, yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
So,
It'll, that might be, oh, that's the existing?
no,
that's new.
this is alternative one. This is like
Oh, okay.
doing minimal, like
That's
it's
doing
just
the minimal,
saying,
right.
do this.
Right, so it puts in some new sidewalks.
Vegetation clearing, like,
Yep.
and then you go on to alternative two,
Yeah.
which is more stuff, it's giving you some different options for
Yeah, this is
that. Yeah, but this will be on the website under the meeting attachments.
What was at one of the select board meetings, in maybe January or February, when this was presented, there was something that the board at the time was hesitating on, or said we should wait till have that answered and then come back and vote on it later, right? Something like that?
This was it.
It
For
was
V-Trans.
because
Yeah,
it
but what's
was
the-
in draft form and hadn't been.
Oh, and we didn't want to vote on a draft.
Right, and
Hadn't been to
so-
V-Trans yet.
Or not
Right, it
we,
hadn't
the
been
board
to
at the time.
V-Trans, so it had been,
Now it
it's been
has.
to V-Trans, they made their comments, VHB went back to them, either responded or made a change, and this is, it does still say draft
Right.
because you haven't accepted it yet, but this is with V-Trans input at
Okay.
this point.
That's all.
So how much of the funding will come from V-Trans versus
This
local?
isn't, this doesn't
This
involve
is just a
funding.
study,
This is
like,
the
so
study.
that we can have a plan and then seek funding to
Okay,
do
and they
that.
had to
We
be
have to
involved
do this
because of
before
the
we can do that.
road.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
This is
Okay.
the
and because
first
of the way
thing.
the grant was structured to get the study done.
So if we approve it tonight, the next step would be, I would imagine, having another item on a future agenda talking about the three options, and then talking about, working with Tracy to talk about where funding could potentially come from, figuring out the grant deadlines, and then eventually figuring out which phases and when we would be doing it. But tonight is purely just about the design, similar to what you were asking about with the bridge, actually, Orize. It's kind of like you're seeing in real time the first step
Right.
towards any of these projects.
Okay.
Are there any other questions about the final report?
So I'll make the motion that we approve the final report for the Mill Street, Main Street scoping study.
You want a second? I'll second.
Okay, We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Opposed.
You gotta
I
call
said
it.
aye. And we have one opposition. The ayes have it, and the final report is now final approved. Thank you.
I have
Okay.
one more simple question. Who is this member?
So Tim is our fifth member, and he is not here tonight. Tim Ricardello.
Okay, he was before.
Yes.
He was on before.
Yes.
He's still on.
He's just
still
not here
on,
tonight.
okay.
Yeah, he's just not here tonight.
I couldn't remember who it was.
Yes.
Thank you.
We do not have an open seat currently.
No, I didn't think you did.
If we did, I would
Yeah.
nominate you.
As long as somebody drives me home after.
I would.
We're
Horace.
neighbors, so we're okay. Okay, so next we have select board reports. And then we have new business.
I have new business.
All right.
I had this, I've been mulling over this idea, but I finally got to it tonight, okay? So when I first started as town manager, I put speed bumps on West Church Street. Remember the speed bumps? Okay? And the public came, or some members came to me and said, what are you doing putting speed bumps on West Church Street? You didn't ask the public. Like, why do I need to ask the public? I'm the town manager. I can do anything here in town. It gets better, So, I talked to the transportation coordinator for the planning commission. I talked to the senior planner for the for the regional planning commission, and it introduced me to this thing called public engagement. Okay, and I was like, "What's public engagement?" And I started to ask the question, and it's getting buy-in from the community to do projects, and it's going to the community first, and including the community, and including them in important decisions for their community. And this Main Street, Mill Street scoping study is a fine example of public buy-in, public engagement, public meetings, and letting the community know what we want to do in our town. So I would suggest, I'm not about laws and rules, I think they should all go away, but policies I think are important. And I think we have some really great committees and commissions in our town. I think we have a lot of great volunteers that do great things and they get excited about projects. And I think that we need to set a benchmark for projects that come forward in town and require a certain amount of public engagement. I think with this town forest, I think if we did more public engagement, more public outreach, and more communication to the greater public, hold on, okay? I think that we would have less people in the current state that they're in. I honestly think, I've got some shaking heads here, I've had conversations with people throughout the community, and this was a rush job, and it has caused me, the select board, and the staff here in Hardwick, a lack of trust in the community, and it has eroded what we are trying to do on a daily basis. So I don't think anything is bad or good. I think it's just what it is, and I think we should be able to move forward in a positive way, and I think that this meeting that we're going to have is going to get nasty. And I'm ready for it to get nasty, because you guys haven't seen how nasty I can get.
Yes, I have.
So I think we should create a policy that requires public engagement for big projects. And we need to put a dollar amount to it. That's my proposal for new business.
What's the dollar amount associated with?
So why don't we task the town manager's office?
When you're asking the public for money, when there's an asset to be, I'm throwing it out there. When there's an asset to be received, when there's an asset to be divested, there needs to be, that's how we keep community, that's how we keep this small town as great as it is right now.
Yeah, I would add to that, I think you're totally right, Opie, and I would add to that the public engagement that we have right now is asking everybody to come to us. And I would love to see a policy where we have something in there about how we're getting out to the community, because it is asking a lot for people to come to these meetings or watch and call in, and decisions happen and you have to go to the website and look at the agenda. It's a lot of work to get to these meetings, and that's why I'm very thankful that you're all here.
Yeah.
But I know it's not easy. I have a 4-year-old at home. I know it's not easy. Everybody has their own reason. So I'm hoping if we do a policy like that, it's a great idea, that we include the different ways that we do public engagement.
We have the ability to do surveys. We have a meeting room that holds 50 people or 80 people across the road. We have places that we can meet. We have a townhouse. It's a wonderful place to have a meeting.
I would like to add to that. I noticed that a lot of your meetings you guys hold for informational stuff are at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. I work till 5, you know. You could be more accommodating to when people are available.
School teachers have been working.
Hold on.
Would you mind just stating your name for the minutes? Sorry. Thank you.
So this Mill Street, Main Street scoping is a fine example of public engagement. We had several evening meetings. We had a lot of people there. So I think we could use that as a model. I hear you and I agree with you that we need to make this government accessible to everybody.
So, David, I'm wondering, have you seen a policy like this?
No.
Can you
Check
ask
with
your,
cities and towns.
Yeah.
can you
I will.
ask your town manager friends?
So this sort of thing, this public engagement is required in some big federal grants.
Right.
So it does exist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know at least some of those grants that I've read over the years in public education say the entire language is something like there has to be a public engagement process.
Right.
And they don't define it, but I wonder, if we can find a model to start with, it'd be a heck of a lot easier.
Great ideas.
Joe Nudell. So first of all, I appreciate everything you just said. I totally agree. Yeah, I would really love to see like a policy that we could conform to do public engagement. That said, I think for this particular project that you mentioned, the town forest, we did do a lot of it. We held, I think, 3 public information sessions at night, on the weekend, in the middle of the day. I'm curious like how this would have been different in your mind.
Was it before or after you came and asked the select board to receive the property?
That was after.
After.
Yep.
See, I wasn't aware of any of that.
So,
I would also just say that I think what you're talking about would be is a great standard for us to have. So we basically have the same standard for everything, is essentially what you're talking about. We right now have standards that are kind of dependent on the project based on policies that exist or different projects. Like Mill Street is a good example. Part of the reason why we did this is we had grant funding to do it.
Right.
So rather than just looking for grant funding to fund this kind of thing, what you're saying is that we have a framework for making sure that if something isn't run by an engineer or doesn't have a consulting company behind it,
We don't have a grant requirement, or we don't have something in our requirements for the funding.
Right.
We need to do this, like for the essential services project across over there on Creamery Road, we need to have a robust public engagement, and we've had some meetings.
Yeah.
There was about 25 people there, mostly from rescue.
Yeah.
But that's a big investment in our town, and people need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
I think this could be really powerful, and I worry a little just on the, that we write it carefully, so that it doesn't put too much of a burden. I don't mind some burden on them and on you, but I worry that we just want to be careful how we write it so that we're not putting, that we don't need to hire people to do it.
Oh, no, I don't want to hire anyone.
No, I know you don't. We don't want you to.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there that it could require a lot of work. It does require a lot of work, engagement. And we just
Jeff
need
Berry,
to.
go ahead.
Yes, Jeff Berry, my name's Jeff Berry.
Jeff Berry.
I was just wondering, so why are all these buildings we're putting up in $1 million? I mean, who's getting all this money for a truck to take and park a truck in, or park an ambulance in? I mean, it's gone way overboard.
I mean, that's the construction industry.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't make that kind of money, and I'm in it.
Well, you're doing something wrong, Jeff.
I mean, these architects drawing these buildings up, you'd think we're in New York City and we're in Hardwick, Vermont.
But it's required for these funding sources.
You know, it's like our town garage, I mean, we wanna build a new $1 million town garage here to park trucks in.
It's
We
like
put
5.
fire cans in and-
It's like 5.
Well, it don't matter what it is.
5 million. It does matter.
I would be happy with a $200,000 garage.
You can't build a $200,000 garage.
You can. You can do it. That's, people telling you that.
I see a committee assignment in your future,
Yeah,
buildings in town.
They won't like it. You do what you gotta do to get by, so the taxpayers got a limited amount of taxes they have to pay.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
mean, the
gonna,
building over here.
We're trying to do that, Jeff. We're trying to go out and get grant funding and spread out the tax base.
Everybody talks about these grants, and you know what? It still comes out of that pocket. It might be pennies on the dollar, but it's still coming out of this pocket.
Mine too.
Right. And people don't realize it. The more grants you give, the more it comes out of the pocket.
Well, it's spread out more.
It is.
so I'm
But
gonna,
some people gain and some people don't.
I'm
That's
gonna sign-
the
I'm
world
gonna
we
sign
live
up
in.
For the building committee, Jeff, and, and we're gonna add to a future agenda, talking more about, policy for public engagement.
Yep.
Is there any other new business?
I have news.
Oh, Tanya?
After 4 months, the new assistant town clerk will be starting on Monday.
Who is it?
Kendra Parks. Kendra Parks?
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
good.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Yes, very excited.
We have a couple of new business items from the public. Joe, Paul?
One, just to comment on that last one. Yes, it comes out of somebody's pocket, but in this town forest, those pockets aren't all tax pockets. They're donor pockets in some cases.
Yep.
So there's money coming into Hardwick as part of this that is not tax money.
Yep.
I do have one more comment on this. So the initial decision by the select board didn't have any money attached to it, so I just consider that money policy.
Yep.
Thank you.
So
So next we have,
I really did have a real one. And following up on this public engagement, and this meeting on March 19th, I come back to my
May 19th.
request that the town set an informational meeting for discussion before that. I understand there's going to be discussion on the floor. It's up to you, obviously, how much public engagement you want, but I'd suggest that another time, other than an evening during the week, that might be more appropriate for people who couldn't make that to engage and have comments, might be.
Where would you suggest we hold it?
I leave that up to you. Do that. Where I hold meetings that can hold 2,333 people.
so I think at our.
We need a new civic center.
That's gonna be $5
We'll
million.
pull the fire service out and use the fire station.
I think at our April 16th meeting, we can discuss a plan for public engagement of the special meeting. That sounds great.
What day?
Next, we have old,
I won't be here.
Good night, all.
Good
thank you
night.
so much.
Safe travels.
Before you all leave, thank you so much for coming. You stuck it almost, there might be a prize at the end, you never know.
We should offer prizes at the end.
Good night.
So then we have old business, our last item.
Yeah.
I have one piece of old business. So we had our special meeting last week with the Hardwick Electric Department. So I'm hoping that we can propose a special meeting date. It doesn't have to be next week. We can take a break between meetings, maybe next week. But propose a special meeting, another special meeting for HED that would be an executive session about real estate. I'm forgetting the VSA number.
One
for that.
VSA 313.
One VSA 350.
313.
313.
Yes.
This is something that after the meeting, I talked briefly with Scott Johnstone about having an executive session to discuss some real estate matters that should not come before the public, and he was hoping that it could be a joint executive session. I don't think there's like a major crunch on the time. We were just talking about, I thought that was a really well-attended meeting. There was a lot of discussion about it, so we just wanted to get something started to get into the books before summer hits. So
it can't be an executive session at an existing select board meeting that they attend?
I mean, I guess it could be, or vice versa, it could be a commission meeting. I don't think it necessarily has to be a separate meeting, the joint HED meeting. Sherry's asking me if it can be attached to a select board meeting, the joint HED meeting.
the
Sure.
executive session.
But I would, before setting a time, I would consult with the commissioner,
Yeah.
the
So
commissioner.
why don't we just start by reaching out to commissioners and asking,
Inviting them to
yeah,
come to one of the regularly scheduled
Do one of those
meetings.
polls.
yeah.
I would
Amanda, do
prefer
you mind
that
doing
rather than another meeting.
I'm just looking at you, I don't know if the person does.
I'll do it tomorrow.
I mean, they have a regular meeting, I think it's the third Tuesday of the month.
Yep.
And it's at 5.
Yep.
So you could technically do a joint meeting during one of their meetings. They've come to
Right,
the
one
last
or
couple.
the other, it
Yeah.
seems like, rather than a
One on the
special
21st.
separate.
Some of these are already gonna be a BCA meeting, just like.
Yeah,
when you
no,
go
it doesn't
back.
have to happen this month, yeah.
Any other old business? Motion to adjourn? We need a motion to adjourn, right? Can I just
Hit that thing.
adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you all.